From the food we eat, the air we breathe, the land we dwell, to the health of our body and mind and the well-being of all things in the universe. Unlock the science with Chula Radio Plus.
Welcome to Unlock the Science. I'm Virada Salim. We, in the modern developed societies, are living in an unprecedented period that we can access varieties of food from all over the world, just only if we have money to buy them. Apart from globalization and modern transportation network that make the transport of food from one side of the globe to another possible, it was the major agricultural technology breakthrough of the third agricultural revolution during mid-20th century, or commonly known as the Green Revolution, that was behind the current outstanding plenty. With the spreading and adoption of new farming technologies, such as cultivation of hybridized varieties of food crops, synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, irrigation expansion, and mechanization of farming practices, most of the world have transformed from traditional low-yield agriculture to modernized high-productivity farming. The industrialization of agricultural production has led to significant increase of global cereal products, especially wheat and rice. Within the span of around 2 decades, a study in 1998 found that cereal production in developing nations more than doubled between the years 1961 and 1985. Since then, the significant surplus of food production as a result of the Green Revolution has contributed to extensive poverty reduction and averted hunger for millions of people around the world. Nowadays, the world can produce up to 11 billion tons of food annually, according to the 2021 report on the state of food and agriculture of the Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO. This figure includes production of crops, livestock, fisheries, forestry, and aquaculture, and the production of food of non-agricultural origin, such as synthetic meat. Yet, these great achievements were built on quicksand, and right now, the foundation for the global food security that is based on technologies from the Green Revolution era has started to crumble. FAO's 2021 report on world food and agriculture disclosed that as of 2020, the world still failed to sufficiently feed almost 10% of the world's population, or almost 770 million people. It was a worsening trend, as it was only around 8.4% of human population that was undernourished in the year before. The situation is specifically dire in Africa and Asia, which are the first and the second region that have the highest level of the prevalence of undernourishment. FAO statistics in 2020 estimated that around 21% of people in Africa and 9% in Asia did not have access to sufficient sources of food. In addition, food production from industrialized farmlands all over the world is getting lower and lower as a result of the stresses from modern farming practices to the environment, such as soil degradation, agrochemical contamination, and biodiversity collapse. Climate change is also another major factor that threatens global food security, as the steadily rising of global temperature is causing major shift on weather pattern globally and contributing to more frequent and more devastating weather disasters, such as flood and drought, which affect global food production. A study by International Food Policy Research Institute, which is an international agricultural research center based in Washington, D.C., projects that climate change will slow progress toward eliminating hunger, with an additional 78 million people facing chronic hunger in 2050, relative to a no climate change future, over half of them in Africa. Considering the current rate of population growth FAO estimated that there is a need to produce about 50% more food by 2050 in order to feed the increasing world population and overcome the shocks and stresses to the global food system from environmental degradation and climate crisis. It is clear that the technologies that once ignited the Green Revolution are no longer viable tools to cope with these impending challenges, and the global food system needs another upgrade to ensure food security for all mankind. Some scientists have proposed the utilization of genetic modification technology to be the new driving force for the next agricultural revolution. They believe that this new technology will open up a new frontier for breeding better strains of genetically modified crops and livestock in adapting to changing environment conditions. Although the development of genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, could be seen as a hope to maintain global food security, there are many controversies regarding the use of this technology in agricultural improvement. Associate Professor Dr. Jessada Denduangboripant from Department of Biology, Faculty of Science, Chulalongkorn University, talks to Unlock the Science reporter Prat Rutiwanarom in explaining to us the science of GMOs, its potentials and its risks to agriculture, environment, and our health.
People often feel concerned when talking about GMO. What actually is GMO?
Now, most of people know about the word GMO, but they don't really know what is the meaning of the GMO. Well, if we talk about the full name of this, is genetically modified organisms. Means that any kind of organism, plants, animals, microorganisms, and also fungi, all of organisms can be modified, but it's not happen by nature. It's made in a lab. The scientists, researchers, we know about the genetics of organisms. We know how to manipulate it. We know how to cut and to join the genes together. And actually, this kind of technology is not that new. When we look back about 30 years ago, at least, or perhaps about 40s. But for normal people, for lay people, they still think that GMO is something quite high technology, something that happen in the future or in the science movie. But actually, we have done that a lot. And for example, when we talk about any kind of fermented products like soya sauce, cheese, actually we use a kind of microbes that we try to manipulate the DNA or genes for a long time. And then we have products that is benefits from this kind of technology. So what I just want to say is just a kind of technology that you can manipulate. You can change the genomes, the genetics of any organism that you want to.
How this technology is used for human benefit?
Well, when we have new method, new technologies, like I just said, that we learn how to study the genome, study the genes of that particular organism that we like. And then we learn, we can cut some part out and put something new inside. So that's the way we start to make this kind of technology to be a benefit for humans. I think the first things, and it's a historic thing, is about the way we made insulin. People will have a problem with the disease, the diabetes, will have problem with the amount of insulin in the body. And before that, we need to extract the insulin from pigs and inject it to the patients. But then we learned that actually we can cut the gene that can produce the insulin and then put this kind of gene into microbes like bacteria. And we grow the bacteria in the chamber, what we call fermenter. And then we have lots of insulin.
Without harming pigs?
No, you don't have to kill the pig at all. And that's 30 years ago, almost.
And is that actually harmful to our health?
That's a big question. Well, it was a big question about like 20 years ago or even about 10 years ago. But for me, it's not that harmful at all. It's like when you think about any technology in the world that human produced or invented, something like knife. You have a knife. A knife is a metal, very sharp. And we can use it in very profound way. You can cut anything. You can use it. Well, history of human need a knife. But then people know that, it can kill people. It can people. So everything has the risk. You can use it as the benefit thing, that's a good thing. But also you have a kind of risk to have something harmful. So any technology have something like that. When we talk about the biotechnology, any kind of biotechnology, when you grow microbes, people say, we have a lot of microbes. They might harm for us. Well, we can control it. We can make it more safety. Also, the same as GMO. It depends on how we use it. So I will answer you that, I cannot guarantee that it's 100% unharmed, but it depends on the way we use it.
And right now, the world is facing many challenges to feed the world. Do you think GMO can help solve the world hunger?
That's a very, very big challenge for not just for Thailand. It's just the country would have a kind of agriculture trend to do, but also all countries around the world to think about that. We have many countries around the world that still be in poverty, like don't have enough food to eat. Some said, we grow a lot of fruits around. Well, you just try to carry all the fruits and give to them, and that's enough. But it's not that true, because logistics is not that easy. So the way to cure the disease of poverty is to have enough food for all people. When we think about GMOs, especially the plants, GMO crops, something like that, we have a tool that do something that the nature cannot do. For example, if you want to have plants that can protect itself from insects, you can just manipulate their genome, and that's the way the nature cannot do for us. We have a kind of best example in Philippines. Philippines, the country that is not good for any agriculture. Area to grow any plants, especially the corns, is quite small compared to Thailand. There used to be a country that import corns. The reason for that is they changed the way they grow corns from normal to the GM1. They use quite the same amount of area, but have higher productivity of the corns.
Thailand also faces a lot of challenge, especially from climate change. Do you think the GM technology can help mitigate this problem?
That was something we need to try, you know. But the problem of using GMO in Thailand or in any countries, the regulation after that. For GMO, that's a problem because people are afraid of it. So you might need 1 year to do it in the lab, and then you might have to use about 4, 5, or almost 10 years for the regulation to approve it before growing it. But okay, I would say that normally any kind of problem that we have to face now about agriculture almost solved by this kind of technology.
That is Unlock the Science reporter Prat Rujiwanarom talks to Associate Professor Dr. Jessada Denduangboripant of Faculty of Science, Chulalongkorn University. We will take a short break now.
You are listening to Unlock the Science on Chula Radio Plus.
A study published in journal Nature Food in 2021 found that genetically modified or GM maize for direct human consumption improved yields by 8% on average. The productivity increase may seem small, but the researchers of this study claimed that this strain of GM maize was improved to tolerate harsh arid conditions, which provides them with great climate adaptation edge. This is especially needed as climate change is expected to make many parts of the world too arid for conventional food crops. On the other hand, various medical studies suggested that consumption of GM foods may link to increase of hypersensitivity and allergies in humans. Due to the ongoing debates on risks and benefits of GMOs and strong public concerns about the safety of this kind of food, GM technology in agriculture and food production is still not fully accepted in many countries. According to FAO statistics as of 2019, around 68% of the countries in the world have fully embraced GMOs as food for people's consumption, while the rest either only allow GMOs for research purposes or ban them entirely. Thailand is a country that only allows GMOs for research, but not for commercial production. However, the Foundation for Consumers, a non-profit organization working to protect Thai consumers, revealed that various kinds of GMO products have already been available in Thailand's markets, especially food products imported from overseas. As Thailand is a country that could encounter very high risks from climate change, which could severely impact its vital agricultural sector, there have been stronger calls from business sector urging the liberalization of commercial production and distribution of GM food. However, Kingkorn Narintarakul Ayutthaya, Deputy Director of Biothai Foundation, another non-profit organization working to promote community rights and biodiversity, thinks otherwise. Unlock the Science reporter Prat Rujiwanarom talks to her about her concerns about GMOs and to hear her suggested solutions to the world hunger in the age of climate change.
It is apparent that our food security is jeopardizing with the looming climate crisis. And it said that GMO technology has been presented as the solution to secure food security. Do you agree that GMO can make our food system more secure?
Actually, I think I would like to answer this question with questions. First, who is presenting this solution? Who is benefiting from this solution? But I may come back to this issue later. But when we see the fact that the GE crop, the GMO crop has developed, it was developed in order to resist pesticides or herbicides that used in the crops. So it's not aimed at increasing yield, actually. They are not engineered to increasing yield or face climate-related challenges to growth, such as drought tolerance. So it used for production of animal feed and ethanol mainly. So this is a kind of mismatch. The solution, if say very simply that we are going to increase the yield by developing the GM crops, more expanding the GM crop, it's not that purpose of the very beginning of GMO technology. So this is wrong.
And what are the adverse impact of the GMO?
So actually it's designed, this technology designed to resist the pest resistant, but at the same time they're decreasing the effectiveness of crops to most use of organic pesticide. Like it could be the alternative technology that we need to look for, and also not really limited use of water. So we are facing the water scarcity, we are facing the soil degradation, we are facing the very drought issue. So this GMO crops was not designed to meet the effectiveness of plant cropping. So actually they create soil degradation, water pollution, pollinators lost. So this is a major externalities that we are already facing under the industrialized agriculture that been promoted for more than 100 years.
So it actually intensified the environmental impact of food production. Is that correct?
Yeah. It create more problem rather than solve the problem.
Why do you think GMO crops are bad for farmers too?
So this is really clear. This answer back to the question that I started with. Who proposed this solution? So the GMO crops decided to, we call the technology locked in, and it's supposed to be patented plants that the farmers has to pay every crops to buy the seeds. They could not save seed by themselves. The second generation GMOs do not give good result. So farmer have to pay expensive royalties every crop that they plant. And they can be easily get sued when the seeds grow by wind or whatsoever, contaminate in their farm. They didn't intend to plant that GM crop, but it's contaminated by wind, by nature. So they can get sued by company. It could be, threatened to the small scale farmers' livelihood.
And if not GMOs, what are the alternative approach to safeguard food security?
So as I said before, the industrial agriculture isn't an answer. We need to accept that is the one cause of the big problem that we are facing in terms of food production, in terms of climate crisis. And we need to start changing our mindset. Mm-hmm. So we are facing a real challenges: resource scarcity, increasing population, decreasing land, degradation, soil degradation, water scarcity. So all of that. So we need to redirect what we are promoting now. We call we say the agroecology. The agroecology is a traditional way of using farming method that less resource use or more effective resource use, work in harmony with society, and benefit to the broader small scale producer. The scientific evidence shows that small scale farmer feed the world. So that's two things. We need to promote the way of producing, working more with ecology, working more with nature. And also we need to promote this and support the roles of small scale farmers. So this is what we have to pay attention to and promote.
And with the increasing impact of climate change, how do you think we can secure our food security in the future?
So I think we have been told, we have been mistaken or misunderstood that a big massive production can serve us. So let's say in situation nowadays, we have produced food 3 times more than we consume. So when we say that there's a lot of around almost 800 million people are in hunger situation, it doesn't mean that we didn't produce enough. Actually, we produce quite a lot, and we create a lot of food waste. Food waste is 1/3 of we produce has been going, dumped or wasted. So the problem is about food distribution. The problem is about we didn't support decentralization of food production, let's say. So if we are more monopolizing in terms of technology, like promoted by the big company promoting GMO crops or high technology whatsoever, and then it's become very centralizing food production. And the centralizing food production also resulting in centralizing food distribution. So that means the food distribution is not distributed in a way that's fair, and everyone could get access to good quality of food.
As Associate Professor Jessada said, GM technology is a useful scientific tool that could help us tackle the exacerbating world hunger by enhancing living organisms with genetic alteration with the genes from other living beings. However, Kingkorn insisted that GM technology is closely associated with big food companies and agro-industry. Not just the environmental harms from GM crop farming, Promoting GMOs will only give these agricultural conglomerates more power over our food production, worsening inequalities and affecting smallholder farmers who are the true backbone of our food system. The real challenge for us is how we can wisely apply the GM technology to truly and safely benefit the noble intention to secure global food security and environmental justice at the same time. Unlock the Science would like to thank Associate Professor Dr. Jessada Denduangboripant of Faculty of Science, Chulalongkorn University, and Kingkorn Narintarakul Ayutthaya of Biothai Foundation for their valuable insights on GM technology and how to ensure the world's food security. I hope you enjoy our program. You can listen to Unlock the Science on Chula Radio Plus at FM 101.5 every Saturday from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. You can also listen and follow us on our website curadio.chula.ac.th and our Facebook page. Our program is also available as podcasts, including on Apple and Spotify. See you again next Saturday. Have a nice day.
Unlock the Science is edited and produced by Sinfa Tunsarawut